Welcome to the Trust Factor Podcast, the only podcast that guarantees your success when you implement its divine age-old teachings. Good morning and welcome to another wonderful week, my friends. It's going to be an amazing one. Despite the craziness that's going on in the world, we've got our heads on straight. We're starting off our days correctly. We're beginning our weeks on the right foot by listening to uplifting, inspirational direction from our Creator to tell us what to do and what not to do, how to be successful and how to avoid failure. That's what the teachings in this podcast are all about, my friends. I hope you've been benefiting from it to date. I've certainly been benefiting from it. You know, in Judaism, we say that the teacher learns more than the students. And it's so true, especially in this case. I can't tell you how much I'm benefiting by giving over these classes. One day, not too far away from now, I'll give you a few podcast episodes explaining what it is specifically that I'm going through now, both personally and professionally, that are benefiting immensely and how I'm dealing with it. I don't generally like to talk about things as they're playing out because there's this idea about liftoch pela satan, that you open up the opportunity for your evil inclination to get in the way or outside forces to get in the way. And generally, that should be a principle that all of you live by, which is don't talk about the stuff that you're doing. Just get it done for various reasons. Just get it done. Don't talk about it because oftentimes when you talk about it, it invites stumbling blocks. People put stumbling blocks in front of you, or the heavens put stumbling blocks in front of you. Because if I'm telling you all of these wonderful things, and they don't even have to be wonderful, anything that I'm telling you about, just like the whole concept of evil tongue, lashon hara, if I'm saying something that doesn't sit well with somebody, that could open up something in the heavens that says, hey, investigate a little bit over here. Because I may have rubbed somebody the wrong way. I may have said something that somebody interpreted negatively, even though that wasn't the intention. And suddenly, a whole new court case is opened up in the heavens that is directly aimed at me. So, or at you, if you're the one doing the talking. Minimize the words and maximize the actions. Do the things that you know you need to get done. When it's done, when you've succeeded, or even if you've failed, it doesn't matter because there's no such thing as failure. If you've learned from the experience, then it becomes a learning experience. It becomes a positive. No such thing as failure if you've learned. The only time there is failure in your life is when you continue to repeat the same mistakes and you don't learn from them on how to improve your life. So whether you've succeeded at the effort you've made, the thing that you're doing, or you haven't succeeded yet, then you can share it all you want. Then you can talk about it till the cows come home. No problem, because you've already done it. You've implemented the change that you want to implement. Then you can talk about it if it's designed to inspire people. If it's designed to point the limelight at you to say, look at how wonderful I am, then certainly you shouldn't share it because that flies in the face of everything that we've been teaching over here. We've been talking about modesty and humility and how important it is to act and not talk too much. So, having said all that, one day I'll come back and I will be able to share with you some of the things that I've been implementing around this time that I've been alluding to in these episodes with regards to change, both personal and professional, and how I've dealt with it. And maybe when that happens, I'll have some hindsight so that I can shine some light on the situation with 2020. Let's get back to the book. We were talking about the couple of obstacles that are specifically designed to stop us from succeeding, to stop us from growing our relationship with our Creator and becoming bulletproof. What are they, if you remember from last week? Number one, I can't do this. It's outside of my abilities. It's too great a challenge for me. That is the fallacy that we sell ourselves, not reminding ourselves that God knows exactly what we can and cannot handle. That's number one. And that He wouldn't give you a test that you weren't able to handle. What that means also is that on the outside looking in, based on your life, because nobody knows your life better than you do, based on your life today, you may be faced with a challenge that you've been saying your whole life, don't give it to me, God, don't give it to me, because I know I can't pass that test. And then guess what happens? It lands at your doorstep, that very same test. But you know, you're convinced that you can't handle this because you've had similar type experiences in the past and they've been a great challenge for you. The way that it works is if he gives you the challenge, yesterday you may not have had the ability to overcome that challenge. But with this challenge comes the very same ability to overcome it. It comes together. It's a package deal where he says, I'm going to up the challenge, but I'm also going to give you the tools to defeat it. Just like he says, I created the evil inclination, but I created the Torah as its cure, as its antidote. The Torah came before it. He brings the cure before he brings the illness. So in that sense, when he's about to give you the challenge, he imbues you with the ability to overcome it. You may not have had that just yesterday or 10 minutes ago, but today, because you were faced with it, walk into it with confidence, knowing that he's there and he's given you the power to succeed. And what's the second obstacle? When we say, leave me alone. Leave me alone. I don't want to deal with this. I've got too much going on. I'm tired. I'm spent. I'm fed up. I don't want to deal with this anymore. You simply do not have a choice. You may want to do nothing and live life as a permanent vacation, but that's not the way that it plays out. As much as you try and as hard as you try, the challenges and the tribulations will find you. That's just how it works. And you need to be able to identify when those opportunities present themselves and to overcome them. They're not all so challenging that they're going to break you down. A lot of them and most of them are easily surmountable. We just have to have perspective and have the desire to overcome. Once in a while, you're faced with a big challenge, but it's the small challenges, the small victories that give us perspective and that build us up so that when the big ones come along, we can crush them. We can't strengthen our souls without being tested from time to time, just like an athlete, just like a professional Olympian who wants to win the gold, or any medal for that matter. Any Olympian that wants to make it to the pinnacle of their lives in their sport has to have a highly qualified professional coach. And that coach is not somebody that sits and strokes their ego and tells them about how wonderful they are and tells them about how it's time for a break. Every 15 minutes, we'll take a break. We'll work out once a week. That's not how it works. The more serious they take their sport, the more serious they take their desire to succeed, the more they train, the harder they train, the more difficult on them their coach is. Our coach is our creator. And Hashem wants you to succeed on levels that you don't even know are possible. But in order to get you there, he needs to challenge you, and those challenges need to increase as you increase in your abilities. We can't be strengthened without those tests. Only by way of these trials and tribulations that build our emunah, that build our relationship with our Creator, and therefore build an understanding of how this world operates, do we achieve true tranquility of the soul. When you understand that everything has a purpose, and that purpose is good, and it comes from a loving Creator, and you can foster that relationship and have Him walking right beside you, you could walk in lockstep with your Creator, only that will calm your soul, will take away all of the negative emotions. Trying to run away from the difficulties that life throws at us, rather than coping with them, makes them even more unbearable. Like I said last week, they don't go away. They don't go away. In fact, they will compound. The more you avoid dealing with the small stuff, the more difficult the bigger stuff becomes. The Creator doesn't give in. Hashem won't stop testing you because He loves you. And He knows what you're capable of and what you need to do in this world. The fact that we might not feel like exerting ourselves doesn't mean that He's going to forget about it. He's going to continue to prod us to strengthen ourselves, both spiritually and physically, both in this world and in the next, to become the best versions of ourselves that we can become. That's His mission, and it should be ours. Ups and downs, difficulties, trials and tribulations come with the turf of life. From the moment that you were brought into this world, my friends, you were put into the game. And you can't sit on the sidelines forever. You sit on the sidelines while you're young, while you're observing, while you're figuring out this thing called life. But then there comes a time, and for everybody it's usually around early adulthood, where you need to step off the bench and onto the turf and start to play in this game called life. Get a job, take on responsibilities, find a mate, build a house, have a family, build a future, have a community, invest in the community, learn Torah, grow, inspire yourself and those around you, build up other people, contribute to this wonderful world that was given to us in a positive way, and to try and undo the negativity, search for truth and meaning and purpose. That's the game. That's what you're put on the turf to do. You can't sit on the sidelines, my friends. Those who are unwilling to invest effort in becoming champions will ultimately suffer a worse collection of trials and tribulations. Therefore, when we strengthen ourselves in emunah and prayer and in the awe of our Creator, we make life so much easier. Now, what the book is about to do, it's about to get into practical, day-to-day terms. This is the stuff everybody's always asking about. Okay, I get the concept. I get the 30,000-foot idea. But tell me how I do it in the day-to-day. I've done that in the past. I've given you guys examples from my own life, from other people's experiences, from the book that addresses certain scenarios and how they deal with those scenarios. The book, believe it or not, is about to get into those details, the nitty-gritty, the day-to-day of our lives, the things that we all deal with on different levels, no matter where you're holding. You know, the other day I was sitting by a yurtzeit, a nachala, of a very dear friend of the family's, and the rabbi was giving over a class on Mishnahs, talking about the laws of how we function as human beings. God gave us the Torah. It's an instruction manual. And in that manual is what to do and what not to do. We talked about this many times. You know what I'm talking about. But at this nachala, at this yurtzeit, it's very common for people who don't normally come to synagogue to come out of respect for their friend, to sit and to learn, even though they've never really done this before. I happen to be sitting next to another individual who is probably 70 years old. Not a Torah scholar, doesn't sit and learn, doesn't really know anything about Judaism, his own religion, sitting right beside me. And the rabbi is talking about bylaw zoning from the Torah, a 3,500-year-old document, is talking about how you should know when to build, what to build, where to build it, how not to encroach on your neighbor, how much space needs to be left between property lines. In a 3,500-year-old document, we're extracting that information thousands of years ago. And the person beside me says to me, what's he reading from? He doesn't understand where this information is coming from. Like he thinks he's maybe reading from a modern book that was written recently on zoning bylaws. And I explained to him, he's reading from the Torah, my friend. He's reading from the very same document that explains everything that we need to know from the second that we're born and brought into this world until the day that we die and leave this world. There is not one subject in life that is missing from the Torah. It is all there in painstaking detail. That's the whole purpose of it. When I say it's an instruction manual for life, I mean that. I don't mean it's a nice thing that if you want to read it once in a while and get an idea about how to be good, you can go and get other self-help books from the bookstore and you can compare and contrast. No, nothing holds a candle. Nothing even comes close. This is the instruction from your Creator. Just like a microwave. You go to LG, you buy a microwave from them. It comes with a manual. Most people don't recognize that you can prepare entire meals from scratch, that you can defrost, that you can do all kinds of amazing things. Who's the best individual in the world to tell you how to maximize the utility of that device? The Creator. LG. Find the engineer. Find the guy who built it, who put it together, who programmed it. And that guy will make your mind crazy with all of the abilities that this machine has that we haven't got a clue. Most of us don't even set the time on the microwave. It's still flashing 12 o'clock. And the rest of us who've gotten advanced with microwaves, what we can do? We can warm up our food for 2 minutes. Or if you're really advanced, you could put popcorn in there and make microwave popcorn. Of course, you need to do it with the automatic sensing because God forbid you should sit by and listen. But the point is, most of us don't take the time to read the manual and understand its functionality and what we can and can't do with it. The best person to tell you how to do it, how to maximize it, is its Creator. That's why there is no book on planet Earth that even comes close to the Torah and its instructions. It's all in there, my friends. All we need to do is pick it up and read. Have an amazing day. It's going to be an amazing week. Can't wait till tomorrow. Thank you for spending time with us on the Trust Factor podcast. If you've heard something today that moved you, save this episode and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss upcoming conversations that challenge, empower, and uplift. And if you're on social media, connect with us. Leave your thoughts. Drop a quote that resonated with you. Hashtag the Trust Factor podcast. Until next time, keep growing in your trust and keep living with purpose. I'm Jesse Revivo, and this has been the Trust Factor podcast. Thanks for listening.